The Xaelin did not keep prisoners. At least that's what the intelligence reports claimed. Yet I was alive, shackled in a hall of obsidian stone and glowing glyphs. Great braziers hissed with blue fire. At the far end of the chamber sat a throne carved from something that shimmered between crystal and bone. And upon it sat her, the Xaelin Queen. She was taller than her guards, her scales a deep violet with streaks of silver across her ridged brow. Her armor was ceremonial yet lethal, each plate inlaid with alien symbols that pulsed faintly as though alive. Her eyes fixed on me, unblinking, sharp as a blade. "Human," she said, her voice resonating through the chamber. "You are their commander." I forced myself to stand, though my knees ached and my jaw throbbed. "One of them." A murmur rippled through her court. She tilted her head, studying me as though I were some strange insect caught in her palm. "You led them against my forces," she said. "And for that, your blood should water the stones of this hall." The guards drew closer, spears crackling. I braced for death. Then it happened. Her gaze shifted downward. Her eyes fixed not on my face, not on my battered armor, but on the chain around my neck. The necklace. It was the only thing I carried from Earth that wasn't military issue. A simple pendant of silver, engraved with a spiral pattern. My mother's. She had pressed it into my palm before I boarded the transport ship years ago, whispering, "Keep this close. It will remind you of who you are." The Queen froze. Her golden eyes widened, and for the first time, her composure cracked. "Where did you get that?" she demanded. I blinked, caught off guard. It's from home. A gift." She stood abruptly, her guard stepping back as if her movement carried weight beyond flesh. Her talons flexed. "That sigil," she hissed, pointing at the pendant. "It is not of your world." Secrets of the sigil. The hall fell silent. Even the flames of the braziers seemed to dim. I glanced down at the pendant, confusion tightening my chest. "It's just jewelry." "My mother." "Your mother," the Queen interrupted, stepping down from her throne. Her massive form loomed over me, but her expression was no longer one of triumph. It was something else. Fear. Recognition. "This symbol belongs to the first pact," she said, her voice low. "The ancient bond between Xaelin and another." She reached out suddenly, her clawed hand seizing the necklace. The guards tensed, but she waved them back. Her fingers traced the spiral as if it were a sacred relic. "In our oldest records," she murmured, "it was said the one who bears this mark would come not as conqueror, but as bridge." I shook my head. "I don't understand. My mother gave this to me. She said it's been passed down in our family for generations." Her eyes burned into mine. "Then your bloodline is older than you know. Prisoner or prophet." 4 days I was not executed. Instead, I was moved to chambers deep within the Xaelin fortress. Guards still shadowed my every move, but I was fed, clothed, and, most bewilderingly, spoken to not as a prisoner but as something else. The Queen herself came often. She asked about my people, my history, the wars we had fought and the worlds we had touched. But always her eyes returned to the pendant. One evening, as storms raged outside the fortress walls, she told me the truth. "Long before your Terran species walked upright, the Xaelin were bound to another race," she said. "They were not like us nor like you. They were wanderers, carrying the sigil of the spiral, the eternal path of stars. We swore never to make war upon them or their kin. And then, they vanished. And you think my people are their kin?" Ask carefully. She studied me in silence. "Perhaps not your people, but you. The blood that flows in your veins may carry the echo of theirs." Sounded impossible. Myth. And yet, the way she looked at the pendant, the way her soldiers treated me with a strange mixture of fear and reverence, I could not dismiss it. The war outside raged on. Reports came of battles won and lost, fleets shattered, planets burned. But the Xaelin did not execute me. And when other generals demanded my head, the Queen silenced them with a single gesture. The turning point. Weeks passed. The Terran command sent desperate transmissions, demanding my extraction or at least proof I lived. I couldn't answer. The Xaelin kept my communications sealed. Then came the night everything changed. I was summoned again to the Great Hall. But this time the Queen did not sit upon her throne. She stood before a vast star map, the galaxies spinning in luminous threads. "Our war has bled too many," she said quietly. "Xaelin and human alike. Yet still it spreads." I nodded grimly. "War always does." She turned to me, her eyes locking onto the necklace. "But perhaps it can end. Not with victory. With recognition." I frowned. "What are you saying?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice so even the guards could not hear. "I have seen signs, human omens. The spiral is not just symbol, it is prophecy. Your coming was foretold." My heart pounded. I wanted to dismiss it as superstition. But something in her gaze, fierce and unyielding, told me this was more than belief. To her it was truth. "If I stand before my people," she said, "and declare the war ended because of you, they will listen." I stared. "You'd call off the entire invasion. Just like that." Her claws brushed the pendant gently, almost reverently. "Not just like that. Because the blood of the spiral walks again. Because to kill you would be to break the oldest vow of our kind." Choice. I lay awake that night, staring at the alien ceiling above me. Could it be true? Could my mother's gift, a necklace I had once thought nothing more than a trinket, be the key to stopping a galactic war? And even if it were true, could I accept it? To end the war not with strategy, not with weapons, but with faith. The next morning I was brought once more to the hall. Before me stood not only the Queen, but the assembled war council of the Xaelin Dominion. Their armor gleamed, their eyes sharp and suspicious. The Queen raised her hand for silence. "Behold," she declared, "the bearer of the spiral. By ancient law, his blood is sacred. By prophecy, his presence is a sign. We will not spill the blood of his people." A murmur of outrage swept the hall. Generals roared, demanding retribution, vengeance, conquest. But the Queen's gaze silenced them all. She turned to me. "Speak, human. Speak to them. Tell them what path your kind seeks." My throat tightened. Hundreds of alien eyes burned into me. Slowly, I lifted the necklace for all to see. "My people came here searching for a place among the stars," I said. "We are not perfect. We have fought, we have bled, and yes, we have made enemies. But we did not come to destroy. We came to endure, to learn, to walk the spiral." The hall fell silent. And then, slowly, the Queen lowered her head. "It is decided," she said. "The war ends. The aftermath. It was not instant. Wars do not vanish overnight. Fleets had to be recalled. Borders redrawn. Distrust lingered, sharp as broken glass. But the Xaelin Dominion declared ceasefire, and the Terran command, staggered by the sudden change, accepted. And me. I was no longer just a soldier. I had become something else. Symbol. A bridge between two species who had been ready to annihilate one another. The Queen saw me off herself, standing tall as my transport finally arrived.